everyone. Today I wanted to talk about the notion of time and that this idea that time is scarce and that time is limited and that there isn't enough time is something that keeps us in permanent sense of stress and keeps us making choices and decisions that really don't serve us. We often make choices because we feel the time is short. We make decisions about big decisions in life because we're afraid that we will be judged on the fact that we're a certain age and we haven't achieved something yet, or we have so many stresses because life is moving too fast and we're of a certain age and now we don't look the way that we should be, and we're putting enormous amount of resources into trying to look differently. And what I wanted to introduce today is something that I've been mulling over. This idea that when we worry about the future is not actually the passage of time, but it's how much can we break out of our karmic patterns. Because for as long as we repeat the same patterns that we've inherited from our parents, for example, or our family at large, or our tradition or our culture, we actually are stuck in the past. We just keep on doing the same thing. We keep on churning out the same results. We keep on making the same people. We keep on creating the same patterns in our relationships. So it's like the time is maybe passing by, but we are not doing anything about creating the future, creating change, creating something different. So this idea was introduced to me a couple of weeks ago, and I've been really enjoying it because I really understood it on a visceral level that we can only create the future if we are creating active change, if we actively choose something different, if we get to resolve the patterns, or interrupt rather, not resolve, interrupt the patterns that we feel stuck in, and allow new space, new movement, new breath to enter, and something else may become possible. That's us creating future. Otherwise, we're just repeating the past. And I remember several years ago, I was traveling in some very ancient site, antiquity, visiting a memorial of antiquity, and the guide was talking about the fact of that space that palace was existing for 40,000 years, and it was the same kind of rule. And I remember noticing, oh my God, the time used to flow so much slower because it was the same patterns of behavior, of cultural traditions. Whereas now time goes very quickly. But why? Because there's so much change. So much is changing in science, in technology, and our relationships, the way we relate with each other, the way we relate within relationships, are still sort of stuck in very ancient, medieval ways. And I think that's where there is so much suffering right now, because as the world is shifting quite quickly, and so much newness is taking place in our lives, our relationships don't reflect that. We're still stuck in patterns. A lot of it, we still sort of make our choices from unconsciousness, from fear of scarcity of time, without realizing how we just repeat the same thing. And that is why so many of us are unhappy, because we're modern people living in a very different world than our ancestors did, or our parents, or our grandparents. yet our values, our expectations about relationships are still really stuck in medieval. Like I said in my recent article, we're still considering that other people's behavior or choices are a reflection of our value, honor, or our sense of self. And that just really doesn't serve us anymore. So just wanted to introduce this today because we need to really rethink all of the conditions with which we limit our relationships and the way we interact with life. We need to reevaluate what time means and that it's not linear. It's not about achieving something by a certain age that we've been drilled to expect. And that the future can only be created when we disrupt the patterns that we've inherited from the past. So I hope this gives you some food for thought, and I welcome your comments as usual. Thank you for listening.